Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. It's that time again to look at our 2025 college football season top 25 that just came out. This is week 6. The AP poll just came out earlier today. We're going to be giving our initial reaction to it, the instant breakdown of where these teams fell within the top 25. Do we agree, disagree? What are our thoughts on it? Let me know down in the comment section what you think about the new AP poll that just came out. There was actually a lot of movement, especially within the top 10. 2 through 10, basically. A lot of teams were shifting around. We're going to react to all of it. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, by all means, drop them below. Do you agree, disagree? Tell me what you think. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, make sure to check out that pinned comment down below. Click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would appreciate it. Let's not waste more time. Let's start running through these teams. We're going to go one all the way down to top 25, see what changes happen. The number one team in the new AP poll for week 6, the 4-0, the undefeated Ohio State Buckeyes, 1,626 AP points. They had 46 first place votes. They're 37 points ahead of the number 2 team. You see the gap is slowly getting closer. Prior to this weekend, they had the best win in college football. They had a top 10 win versus the Texas Longhorns. That doesn't look as impressive as it did week 1, but still nonetheless, they're also the defending national champion. So to be the champs, you got to beat the champs. I have no issue with them being number 1 for now. As the season continues to go along, some teams might rack up some better wins. Ohio State might lose one at some point, but as of right now, they are undefeated, still with a top 10 win to their credit, and they're the defending national champions. They're holding on to that number 1 spot, but the gap is getting smaller and smaller and smaller week by week. And they had a very dominating win this week versus Washington Huskies at Washington in Seattle. Dominating win. Sayin played great. The running game finally got going. They still have the number 1 defense in all of college football. Back-to-back seasons. Number 1 last year, number 1 this year. It's the defense setting the pace for the entire game. Number 2, moving up 4 spots. This is one of the biggest changes this week. The Oregon Ducks undefeated 5-0. They jumped 4 spots, 16 first place votes. Guys, Oregon Ducks, they have arrived. They were number 1 pretty much all of last season, finished the regular season undefeated, the only undefeated team to go into the playoffs. They were riding high, lost their first game in the playoffs. They won the Big Ten, their first season in the Big Ten. They might win the Big Ten again this season. They might be the best team in college football. It's not just the defense, it's the offense. They went on the road to Penn State. Rabid atmosphere, the whiteout, the fans were going crazy. Dante Moore, first season as the full-time starter, he is wheeling and dealing. They were throwing it, they were running it. This team is built at the line of scrimmage, the defensive line, the offensive line, that front 7 getting after it. They were able to out-muscle Penn State, which has a very good defense, the number 3 defense prior to this game. They won the game fair and square on the road. Just think if this game was in Eugene. They are definitely the number 2 team. I don't have an issue with them jumping all the way up there. Right now, the Big Ten has the top 2 teams. It is a very deep conference. Obviously, the Big Ten, the SEC, the 2 best conferences in college football. But they got 16 first place votes, and they're only 37 total points behind the Buckeyes. If they continue to play this way, within the next couple weeks, they might be number 1. Number 3, dropping 1 spot, was the Miami Hurricanes, 4-0. They were on the bye week. Some people might be mad they fell 1 spot when they didn't even have a chance to play. They have Florida State coming up this weekend. They have the opportunity to make their case there. Florida State also ranked. Miami still getting first place votes. They're the last team getting a first place vote. Only 3 teams got first place votes. The Buckeyes, the Ducks, the Miami Hurricanes, 1,529 points. They're 60 points behind the Ducks right now. So you see that gap between 1 to 3. It is very close right now. There's a huge gap after these top 3 teams. These are currently right now, week 6, the 3 best teams in college football. I don't have an issue with them dropping 1 spot, even though they didn't play. Some people have them as the number 1 overall team in all of college football. I have no issue with that either. 1 to 3, there's not much disparity between those 2 teams. They're all very close. They all have great defenses, great offenses, great line of scrimmage football. At the end of the day, we know what matters is, can you line up and can you control the line of scrimmage? All of these top 3 teams can. Number 4, massive movement here. Ole Miss, 5-0, jumping 9 spots, 1,354 points. So almost 200 total points behind the number 3 team. That's why I said those top 3 teams are very close. There's not much separating them. They're all playing great football. Ole Miss, they beat LSU. We called them to beat LSU. We were not surprised in any way whatsoever. LSU, they've only scored, out of 5 games this season, they've only scored more than 20 points. We do not trust their offense at all. Defense is playing good, but Ole Miss, give this team credit. They went into the season. Simmons was the guy going forward. He didn't play good. He got banged up. And just like when Brady took over, when you lose that shot, if the guy behind you outplays you, you will never get that starting spot again. Chambliss has taken over. This team has not looked back at all. He's experienced from the SES level, not at Ole Miss, but Lane Kiffin, you know what Lane Kiffin does. He's always going to have a good offense. They're throwing the ball. They're running the ball. It's possible, even though last year's team had a Jackson Dart, Parrish, Trey Harris, it's possible this team may be better than last year's team because they're more rounded. Last season, top 10 offense, top 10 defense. They have a top 10 offense right now. They have a top 20 defense, but the way the defense played last week, they're going to be top 10 soon. But it's how balanced they are throwing and running the ball. And they're the highest ranked team in the SEC currently right now. Lane Kiffin, Florida right now, they might be getting ready to play that buyout. But either way, he might not leave Ole Miss, but give this guy some props. He's built this team. He wasn't the number one destination in his own conference, just downright gritty play calling, working the portal, recruiting. He's now number 4. Great for them. Number 5, the Oklahoma Sooners. They were on the bye. They moved up 2 spots. They're 4-0. I don't really know why they moved up 2 spots being on the bye, but the big news here is John Mateer might be out for 3 weeks. I wouldn't have moved them up 3 spots. They were on 2 spots. They were on the bye, and they just lost their quarterback for 3 to 4 weeks. Might not even play in the Red River rivalry. That would be a massive disappointment for us college football fans. We want to see Oklahoma, Texas full strength. We want John Mateer versus Arch Manning. That's just great college football right there. That's one of the best rivalries in college football in all of sports. Oklahoma, though, great defense. That's what Brent Venable does. They play good defense. I want to see the Sooners run the ball more consistently, though. The run game is way too geared around John Mateer, 20-25 carries per game. That's not going to work in the SEC over a regular season schedule. That's why the guy's out. He got banged up running the ball. Arbuckle, you got to figure out something. You are way too talented of a roster. You can continue to win games based off that defense, based off of John Mateer, who some people had as the Heisman frontrunner prior to him getting hurt, but I need to see you develop a more consistent run game. Number 6, the Texas A&M Aggies, moving up 3 spots. This offense, Marcel Reed, Morris, they are throwing the ball, run the ball, playing really good defense. Mike Elko, his team's always disciplined. They play great defense. They play good offense. They're built at the line of scrimmage. He wants to out-muscle you. They have great wins in their name so far. They have the Notre Dame win. They are winning in the SEC. Do I think they're the number 6 team outright? No. Do I think, I'd probably put them around 12 to 13. They are undefeated right now. They are in the SEC. I don't have an issue with them being where they are, but I definitely don't think that they're going to finish there. Prepare yourself for some disappointment, but what they're doing on offense right now, great. And they also have one of the best defenses in the country. So they might surprise everyone. They might be one of the playoff teams to represent the SEC this season. Number 7, Penn State, dropping them 4 spots. I don't have an issue with that. We picked Penn State to lose. It really, honestly, not to downgrade the regular season games, but I had Penn State making the playoffs, losing to the Ducks, but it doesn't matter as much. As long as Penn State finishes 10-2, they will make the playoffs. They might even still make the Big Ten championship, but you got to figure some things out. I was not a fan of Drew Waller this season. I wasn't a fan of him last season. They have one of the best 1-2 running back combos in the nation. Allen, Singleton. They don't have Warren anymore. They still have a great defense. They have Knowles calling defensive plays, the best defensive mind in all of college football. Everyone says Franklin, he can't win the big game, blah, 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 blah. Whiteout at night, Drew Waller, he lets you down. They have no passing game, no consistent passing game. Whenever it's a massive moment, Drew Waller cannot vertically push the ball down the field. It is what it is. We've been seeing the same story play out for 3 to 4 seasons now, and they passed on Prabula. He left, transferred. How bad does that move look right now? Him with this defense, this is a good defense. This is a line of scrimmage football team. I wouldn't drop them down very far because they were competing with the Oregon Ducks, who are now number 2. They can compete with anyone in the nation. It's just, can they win on the final drive, 4th quarter, overtime? I don't trust Drew Waller, but I expect them, just based off their defense, their physicality at the line of scrimmage, they can compete with anyone. It's just that final minute of every game, do they have enough oomph to get them over the finish line? Coming in at number 8, the Indiana Hoosiers, 5-0, moving up 3 spots here. 2 weeks ago, they curb stomped the Fighting Illini. What was that? 63-10. I don't know if I've ever seen a top 10 team lose by over 50 points before. They lost by 53 points. props to the Fighting Signettis, what this guy does, recruiting, working the portal. Mendoza has like 17 passing touchdowns, still no picks. He has an arm. He's a transfer from Cal. They're playing great defense, great offense. They can throw the ball, they can run the ball, they can do a little bit of everything. They're looking very good right now. Uh, very close game they had versus Iowa. Not surprised by that. That's what we call nobody comes to Iowa and plays them and blows them out. That's not the way it works. They've been under a spread. So they've been on the plus side of every spread for every single home game at Iowa since 2022. It's Kirk Ferentz. He's the longest tenured coach in the country. They have a top 10 defense every single season, top 10 special teams. They control the game clock. They have 10 to 12-minute possessions every time they touch the ball because they go so slow. Not to knock them, it is painful to watch Iowa Hawkeyes football because it's pre-World War II football. It is straight up 1930s slogging warfare football, trench warfare. It gets really boring. They can't throw the ball. They can't throw accurately past 5 yards, but nothing's new. The guy's been there for 30 years. It's been the same story for 30 years. They are always in every single game just based off their defense. Just think of where this team would be if they just had a top 60 offense. They could be fighting for national champions. But that defense kept it close. Indiana won. You should have been expecting a very close game. Coming off a curb stomping, you put everything you had in that game to make a statement. A little bit of a step back the next week. That's what happened this week, but you got the win on your step back. That's all that matters. Coming in at number 9, Texas Longhorns, 3-1, moved up one spot, coming off the bye. Texas, Arch Manning. I don't like you showing up Houston State, man. Whatever they were called. I don't like that look. Sorry, Sam Houston State. I don't like that look. You're a 5-star quarterback, the number 2 quarterback coming out of high school. You've stunk in every single Power 4 game you've played, and you were showing up Sam Houston State. Have some respect for yourself. It was a bad look. Steve Sarkisian, everyone keeps saying he's a young guy, this and that. This is his 3rd year in the Steve Sarkisian system. He stares down receivers. His throwing motions look awful. He panics in the pocket. He either waits too long or he just goes mobile and starts running because he's not developing the play in front of him. Still a lot of season left, but this is a 3rd-year quarterback. There's warning signs. SEC play hasn't even started. You're going to be facing some really good defenses. They're not Sam Houston State, and when you showed up that guy, look for the DEs. They're going to start showboating on you. Once they sack you, they're going to stand over you, and they're going to try to make you look like a fool because technically you started at first. Coming in next, we have number 10, Alabama. What a dominating win versus the Georgia Bulldogs. They moved up 7 spots. They're 3-1. Some people don't like them jumping all these spots, but Georgia was number 5. Alabama beat them fair and square in Athens, Georgia. They had a 32-33 home game winning streak. They burst it, but was anyone really surprised because Kirby Smart's lost, 10 of the last 11 versus Alabama? Whether it's Saban, DeBoer, for some reason, they are his kryptonite. They had the game too. I didn't like the 4th-and-1 going for a call. Kicked the field goal, tied a game. Defense was playing good. And number 1 jumping on top of the pile. When I was watching that, I just said, what on earth is that guy doing? Everybody who's ever watched the game of college football knows you can't jump on top of the pile after the whistle. You're going to get flagged. He gave the game away. Sometimes that's the way it works, though. Great win for Alabama. Simpson right now, he is slinging the ball up and down the field. Ryan Williams, fully healthy, back from the concussion. I still want to see Alabama. You got to run for more than 122 yards per game. You got to line up. You got to line up in the eye and be able to run to compete down the stretch in SEC football, because there will come a time in the 4th quarter when you can't throw the ball. You got to control the game clock, suck up the minutes. You got to be able to line up and run on really good defensive front sevens. But a win's a win. Simpson looking great. They have Grubbs back. They're running the Kalen DeBoer offense, which is slinging it all over the place. Run the play action. Simpson's prospering in it. Number 11, Texas Tech, moving up one spot, 4-0. Texas Tech continues to do what they do. Number 1 transfer portal class, talented team. The offense looks good with Morton, Hampton. No matter who the quarterback is, they're moving the ball, and they have a defense for once. This is the front runner for the Big 12 right now. They're playing offense. They're playing defense. Fun thing to watch. Number 12, Georgia, 3-1, dropping 7 spots. I don't have an issue with where they're put right now. There's a lot of season still in front of the Bulldogs. They had a very competitive game. They lost Alabama. Boo-hoo, yeah, they did not want to lose Alabama, but they lost Alabama last season. They still won the SEC. Everything is still in front of them. Talented team, Branch, all the weapons there. Stockton throwing the ball, running the ball. You don't want Stockton throwing for that many yards. You don't want this to be a pass-happy team. I've had a lot of issues with Mike Bobo. I want to see Georgia more consistently run. It's not just what you average per game. It's situational running. I want to see Georgia prosper there more. Coming in at 13, LSU 4-1. I had LSU way out of the top 10 3 weeks ago. The win versus Clemson, not impressive. Everybody can beat Clemson right now. Clemson right now is like a bottom 20 team in the entire nation. That sounds crazy to say. Sorry, Clemson fans. It is what it is right now. Maybe they'll turn things around. They're not going to make the playoffs, but maybe they'll still turn things around, make a prosperous season of it. But LSU, you can't run the ball at all. You can't even throw the ball. Your strength was your offense coming into this season. Talented wide receiver room, running back room, veterans, Nussmeier back for another season. The offense is atrocious. 4 of your 5 games this season, you haven't even scored 20 points. This is 2025. You haven't scored 20 points. The only game you scored over 20, you scored 26 versus you scored 50 something versus an FCS team, which is a given. You were like 48-point favorites that game. We picked you guys to lose this one. Not surprising at all. Brian Kelly, great coach. Blake Baker, the strides this defense has taken from year 1 to year 2, great. They look good last season. They're even better this season. They can compete with anyone on the defensive side, but that offense, if you can't throw it, you can't run it because the run game opens up the pass game, opens up the play action. They're just going to drop the safeties, drop the linebackers back. You have to be able to have the threat of a run game, and they can't do that right now. Coming in at 14, Iowa State, dominating win. They did not move them up or down. They're 5-0. They're there with Texas Tech. They made the Big 12 championship last season. They lost to Arizona State, but they won 10 games last year. They're on pace right now to win 10 games again. Matt Campbell, discipline. Rocco Beck, third year with the team, slinging it up and down the field. They're playing good offense, consistency, and they're playing good defense right now. And they're disciplined. That's what Matt Campbell does. Coming in at 15, Tennessee. Tennessee hasn't moved from 15 for 3 weeks. They lost to Georgia. Then they won. They won again this weekend. But the big, I love the offense. I love Josh Heupel's offense because he adapts his play calling to whatever the skill set is on his team. Players come and go. He completely transforms his offense to the talent. Joey Aguilar comes onto this team. He's there for 3 days. He's slinging the ball up and down the field versus Georgia, versus all these teams. They played Mississippi State. It was a shootout. What scares me is the Tennessee defense is a complete joke. They actually had a top 40 offense last season and a top 10 defense, top 10 in tackles for a loss, sacks, quarterback pressures. They don't have a top 10 defense. They have like a bottom 40 defense right now in the entire country. They're giving up 30-something points a game versus Power 4 competition. Not good at all. Every game is a shootout, but at least they can outscore people. That's why they're not moving them up or down. They're winning, but they're not moving them up because their defense is awful, but they're not moving them down because their offense is elite right now. I love it. Let's just get that defense on track, and you're just outside of the top 12, so you still have a playoff shot. Made the playoffs last season, lost. This is a very talented team. I was happy when you guys got rid of Nico. I didn't think you would miss him at all. The guy's awful. He's a garbage can. It is what it is. We all knew that he could not hit anyone last season. Joey Aguilar can take you to the playoffs. Let's just get a couple stops on the defensive side. Coming in at 16, Vanderbilt, 5-0, moving up 2 spots. I can't knock this at all. They continue to win. They dropped a 70 burger last week. They dropped a 50 burger this past weekend. They're scoring points. They have Alabama coming up. Can they upset Alabama 2 straight seasons? That would be crazy. It's exactly what happened last season. Kalen DeBoer beats Georgia, goes to Nashville, loses to Vanderbilt, gets curb stomped by the Commodores. Can they do it again? This time in Tuscaloosa? I don't know, but I do know that the AP Volers, they can't wait for Vanderbilt to lose so they can kick them out of the poll. That's just the way it is. They only really care about big brands. So I'll be rooting for Vandy to be competitive this season. If they can go, can you imagine if Vandy goes 10-2? Diego Pavia, he's playing his 15th, 16th year of college football. He's basically 40 years old at this point. The guy has full-grown kids, and he's probably coming back next season. He's for some reason, the guy's been playing college football forever. He's obviously experienced because he's like 43 years old. But Vanderbilt, good story. What he's doing with that team, with the talent level, with the 3 stars he has on that team, competing in the SEC, the deepest conference in college football. Yes, SEC play starting now, but Vanderbilt, great opening to the season. Coming in at 17, Georgia Tech dropping 1 spot. They're 5-0. That was a pretty crazy win. They won it. They won it by one. Sloppy win. It was bound to happen at some point. Just like with Oklahoma, Haynes King, they're running him way too much, 20 to 25 times a game. Jamal Haynes, one of the best running backs in the ACC, one of the best running backs in the entire country. They don't run him enough. Haynes King, he's running 20, 25, and they're physical runs. He's putting his shoulder down, trucking people. He's already missed one game this season. He's one hit from missing multiple games. You got to control that down. The team as a whole has to step up. They're very Haynes King reliant. It is working so far, but it also reared its ugly head this past weekend. But they got the win. They showed up. They played like crap, and they were able to avoid the upset win. Every team has crappy games. Some teams lose them. Some teams overcome it, and they won it. They won it. 18 Florida State. What a crazy Friday night game this was. 3-1. They dropped to 10 spot. It was a shootout. First Virginia went into overtime. Some people were debating on whether that was a completion or not. I did not think that was a completion. The guy was bobbling it going out of the end zone. Wasn't a completed pass, but I get it. Some people were mad. Florida State. Thomas Castellanos, they're running for 338 yards per game. They have Miami coming up here. It is in Tallahassee. Take the records, throw them out the window. This is going to be one of the best games of the season, one of the best rivalries in college football. Right, wide left. We all know the history between these two teams. I was honestly hoping Florida State would win just as an unbiased college football fan. I want to see undefeated Miami versus undefeated Florida State, the potential game day game at that time, facing off, maybe even both top 5 teams fighting it out for the playoffs for the ACC. Florida State lost it. Everything is still in front of them. Even if they lose to Miami, they can still go 10-2, get to the ACC championship, face Miami again. They might beat Miami this weekend. We don't know. But Florida State, disappointing loss, not surprised. This is a team built off the transfer portal. They won 2 games last season. They've already surpassed that. 3 games, playing good defense, defensive line. Gus Malzahn calling plays, one of the best defensive minds of the last decade. They're going to be just fine. It's just, will they have enough wins to make it to the ACC championship game? But I cannot wait to see Miami, Florida State this weekend. It's just so fun. And it can honestly, like I said, take the records, throw them out the window. Coming in at 19, Missouri 5-0. They moved them up one spot. They are just chugging along right now. Drinkowitz, he gets the most out of the talent on his team. Give this guy 3 stars. He will give you 10 wins. Back-to-back 10-win seasons. He's on pace for his 3rd 10-win season. He snatched Prabula from Penn State. He's slinging it up and down the field. Drew Aller looks awful there. Missouri, they're scoring points. They're throwing the ball, running the ball, playing defense. They are one of those teams that are an X factor to ruin some teams' chances in the SEC to make the playoffs. They can't wait to ruin someone's season. Coming in at 20, Michigan 3-1. They dropped one spot. This team perfectly situated. I think they are where they should be. Underwood, young, true freshman quarterback. He's had some great games. He had one, questionable game. He's a true freshman. He was on the road at Oklahoma. He's playing well above his talent level. Run the ball, play action. Sharon Moore should be coming back the next game. Number 21, Notre Dame 2-2. They moved him up one spot. They don't want to move them up too much. Dominating. They curb stomped Arkansas at Arkansas. They got Sam Pittman fired. They beat them so bad. That was a game where they were just slight favorites, and their defense finally showed up. They were giving up 30-something points a game up to this game. They had number 3 defense last season. They had like the number 100 defense there now. But the defense finally showed up this past weekend. They had a dominating win. Props to them. Props to the entire team. Freeman, Ash, Dan Brock. They performed, in CJ Carr, first season as a starter. This team looks completely different because he's not Riley Leonard. He will sling the ball down the field. Great house, face on, the running back room, the 1-2 running back combo. Love, Pierce. It is good. If they win out, they have to win out to have any shot to make the playoffs. If they go 10-2, they at least have a chance to make the playoffs. If they lose one more, they're out. But the way they're playing right now, and if their defense gets on point, because this is the best Notre Dame offense I've seen in 20 years, they are scoring some points right now. Coming in at 22, the Fighting Illini 4-1. They moved up one spot. They beat USC. They dropped all the way from 9 last week down to 23 this week when they got curb stomped by Indiana 63-10. But they responded. That's all that you can ask, is they responded. They beat USC. They were at home. Luke Altmaier, 3rd year with this team. This is a Brett Bielema team. They're disciplined. They run the ball. They play line of scrimmage football. They out-muscled a high-flying USC team. In the last minute, they drove down the field. They got the score to win the game. Props to them. Coming in at 23, BYU 4-0, moving up 2 spots. BYU was a team that won 10 games last season. They had Retzlaff coming in here with a lot of praise for this season right before the season starts. Literally right before the season starts, he gets suspended, kicked off the team, transfers out to Tulane. Brockmeyer steps in. This team hasn't looked back since then. They're running the ball, throwing the ball. This is a guy who was not supposed to be starting, just got thrown in there week 1. They're playing good football. They might be on pace again to win another 10 games. The Big 12, they're going to butcher one another. There's not necessarily, well, there might be a great team in there, but there's a lot of really good teams. They are going to cannibalize one another. They are very deep in the middle. Coming in at 24, Virginia, 4-1. You had to put them in there. They just beat the number 8 team at home. Virginia, Morris, running the ball, throwing the ball. Yes, that was a complete shootout, but they showed up. They played. They won it. That storming of their field by their fan base, that was the best. That was the number 1 storming I've seen in a really long time, because literally, as the ball is touching the guy's fingers, they're just rapidly running out there. I don't even know what happened to the Florida State wide receiver. He got covered in a sea of fans. Fun game to watch, though. 25, welcome back to the top 25, Arizona State. They basically took TCU's spot. They beat them. Arizona State, Sam Levitt, Tyson, the run game is going right now. They were able to not fully fill Cam Scadaboo's shoes, but they have a decent run game. Sam Levitt is just put the team on his shoulders. He's doing everything. Running the ball, throwing the ball. Tyson is a legit 1,000-yard wide receiver. Defense showed up when it had to. They were sacking Hoover, stripping the ball from him. This is a team that was an outlier to make the playoffs. A lot of people had them winning the Big 12 again, back-to-back seasons, making the playoffs. They got booted out. They lost to Mississippi State, but Mississippi State actually turned out to be a really good team that almost beat Tennessee this past weekend. I have no issue with them coming back in the top 25, but I don't see them leaving it. So the teams just outside of it, South Florida, to me, they should be ranked. They should be 22 to 25 right now. There's no reason to boot them out. Miami fans, you want USF to get back in the top 25 because that would give you 2 top 25 wins, Notre Dame and USF. They will make it back in there. You want them in there right now. And if you beat Florida State, that would be, and if Florida State stays in the top 25, you'd have 3 top 25 wins. No team right now, I don't think, has 2 currently ranked top 25 wins. If USF gets in there, you'd have it. If you beat Florida State, you'd have 3. That makes your schedule look better. And then you have Utah just outside of it. I'm kind of surprised they're not ranked. I would not want to play Utah. Kyle Whittingham, great coach. Devin Dampier, slinging the ball, running the ball. Yes, they lost to Texas Tech, but this is a very good team with a great offensive line and a very good defense. Mississippi State, Jeff Lebby. The progress that team took. They had 70 transfers on this team. They're playing good offense, good defense. Surprisingly, this is a team that, again, they cannot wait to upset someone in the SEC season and knock them out of the playoffs. Keep your eye on this team, especially Ole Miss, because you got the Egg Bowl coming up later this season. They're going to be scoring some points. Guys, that's just a quick reaction to our AP poll top 25 that just came out for week 6. Make sure to drop it in the comments. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this poll? And I will respond in the comments. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, check out that pinned comment below. Click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would appreciate it. Of course, as always, thank you for watching.